Hello, this is David J. Howe, Doctor Who collector and author. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Larry, it's Fraser, and you use they all say who is Doctor Who? Where is he from?
What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who? So I ask you, who's Doctor Who?
Welcome back to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, the podcast that explores the ever-changing world of Doctor Who collecting, all kinds of Doctor Who merchandise, and sometimes just Doctor Who. Brought to you in part by Forbidden Planet and Bags Unlimited Incorporated. Welcome back to the show. I am Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I've been collecting Doctor Who now since 1981, which adds up to about 44 years of experience. Happy to share that with you. Welcome to our 90th episode. Very exciting. We're celebrating Doctor Who collecting in every way we can. And in case you're joining us for the first time, if you've heard this before, fast forward through this section. But if this is your first listen, I did open one of the first Doctor Who stores in Chicago that exclusively served Doctor Who fans. And it was in 1984. We called it Bundles from Britain, which celebrated its 40th anniversary last year. And I found out we were mentioned in a wonderful book called Red, White, and Who, the story of Doctor Who in America. Bundles from Britain lives on page 384. I was really shocked that somebody remembered us. But that was great. You can find a link to buy that book on the front page of our website at DoctorWhoCollectors.com. We are part of the Direction Point Doctor Who Podcast Network, and you can find some great podcasts in the Doctor Who world at directionpoint.org. And if you happen to be a podcaster, join today. There's no cost and real easy to become part of our podcast family. You can join the ranks of folks like Time Streams, Police Box in a Junkyard, Traveling the Vortex, the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, Doctor Who Literature, and much more. For more information, again, go to directionpoint.org. And speaking of links, of course, in every episode I include these two great links to help collectors. The first one, of course, is timelash.com, and then when you get there, select TARDIS Library. Sign up for a free account. Keep track of your media collections, your want lists, and that. They do books and records and VHS tapes and Betamax and Blu-rays. No magazines or figures, though. And special thanks to Mr. Dan O'Malley with his advertising revenue on there. Keeps that site free of charge. If you need to do a deep dive research kind of thing, you want to find out something about, something that isn't on the TARDIS library, then you need Howe's Transcendental Toy Box, which is every collector's Bible. And that's at drwhotoybox.co.uk. I am a contributor to that website, and of course that website is run by my good friend David J. Howe. And if you don't know that name, he's one of the greatest collectors of Doctor Who in the world. If you're looking for great Doctor Who items at great prices, look no further than DoctorWhoStore.com. That's Alien Entertainment. My former partner, Gene Smith, owns that company. They have what you need and are always running sales. And if you live in Chicago or the western suburbs, you can select free pickup from the store to save on that shipping cost. And while you're at the store, of course, browse their incredible selection of Doctor Who, science fiction, and fantasy items. The Lombard location is open Wednesday through Saturday, but call first since they're in convention season and they do close for various conventions. Also open in Logan Square. Visit alienentertainment.com for a location and store hours. You can also find some great Doctor Who stuff at my own store here. Forbidden Planet is one of our sponsors, but you can just go to our website, select Doctor Who merchandise links. That's DoctorWhoCollectors.com. And, of course, our eBay store, where right now we've got a 1968 Patrick Troughton Doctor Who annual for sale. We just sold the Pink Pertwee annual. So that was off. That sold for a pretty good price. So there you go. We got a lot of Target books up there and some hardcovers that were they're duplicates in the collection. So all proceeds, of course, benefit the podcast. And of course, Who North America. They're down in Canby, Indiana. You can find them at www.whona.com or whona.com. And of course, our friends at the Who Shop in London. That's thewhoshop.com. Wonderful folks there. Of course, our website, DoctorWhoCollectors.com. In addition, we have all the podcasts, the podcasts posted on our website. And of course, we have the complete guide to Doctor Who classic hardcover books, which is getting a major update this month. We even list some reprints you don't know about and whether or not the books were sold in the U.S. or not. So what's going on? There have been no significant updates since my last episode on Chicago TARDIS, but we've got the guest list here. So for more information, chicagotardis.com. But here's who we have coming to the show here. Jason Haig-Ellery, he's the CEO of Big Finish. Annette Badland, you might remember her in Ted Lasso. She owned the pub. Mickey Lewis in those monster costumes. I'm really excited about meeting Steph DeWally. Of course, Anita in 2 episodes of the Ncuti Gatwa era. Sean Carlson, Miles Richardson. He played Irving Braxiatel in the audiobooks. Jacqueline King, who played Sylvia Noble. Mickey Lewis, Susan Twist. She was Susan Triad. And of course, your ticket comes with Fraser Hines. We love Fraser. So the convention is set for November 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Westin Hotel in Lombard, Illinois. Tickets available at chicagotardis.com. Hotel reservations through the convention also available there. And follow them on all social media platforms. And speaking of social media, be sure to follow my channel on TikTok, the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. We've reached over 600 followers in just 3 months. So thank you for that support. But we're also on the usuals. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky. Doctoberfest Regenerate. We are set for our Saturday, October 18th, and I am a confirmed guest. Those images will be coming out shortly. My presentation for this year is Doctor Who Toys and Games from 1964 to the present, with a sampling and history of the game and toy manufacturing of Doctor Who. It'll be held at Who North America in Canby. No other guests have been announced yet. So we will have a new configuration with a new panel room inside the Who North America store. If you would like me to present at your convention or festival, please contact me about making that happen at drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com. Put convention appearance in the subject line. Many rumors abound, these hardcover books that we keep talking about, that lots of collectors are flocking after. We have a lot of rumors about second printings and third printings and things that no one has seen concrete proof of, but we're always on the lookout for that so we can update our guide. So if you have a book that isn't mentioned on our guide or not mentioned on any of our shows, please contact me, Doctor Who Collectors Podcast @gmail.com. And of course, we love talking to collectors. If you'd like to be on the show, give us a shout. You can talk to us contact us on any social media platform, including our email. On today's show, this is exciting. We have new information about those classic hardcovers that were sold in the United States prior to 1984. It includes titles not previously mentioned. So I will be diving into that with this breaking news. This is really important. I've had this information for a while. First time I've gone into the actual it's a catalog, and I'll tell you more about that in the main story. But I went through it and my jaw dropped because it gave me more information. And then, of course, I got a little more information from my friend Jonathan Ruffle out there, who wrote to me when I announced this episode and confirmed one of my questions. So that was really awesome. So if you'd like, I'd also thank our patrons. If you want to see exclusive video material that is not on our TikTok channel, you can go to our Patreon page, subscribe at the $15 level, and to find us, go to patreon.com/Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. You can also support us at Podbean at drwhocollectors.podbean.com. Our theme song is Who's Doctor Who, composed by Barry Mason and Les Reed, performed by Fraser Hines, who gives us permission to use it. You hear this podcast just about anywhere you get your shows, including Apple, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and pretty much anywhere. Just search us out. We're also on Spotify and a few others. So share it with your friends. After the break, we'll have My Time. Of course, spoilers ahead, spoilers ahead. If you have not seen the entire season of the Shudigatwa era, you might want to skip My Time. Just fast forward through that to get to the commercials, and you can skip the spoilers. So we will have that, our main story, and of course, the most outrageous offer. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Juliet.
And I'm Nathan.
Experience Doctor Who from the very beginning through a classic fan's eyes.
And through the eyes of a new Who fan.
Reminisce and relive those classic moments with Nathan as he offers fun insight.
Or experience them for the first time with Juliet as she dwells on social issues, history, fashion, and the size of a flashlight.
We're the Time Streams podcast.
Find us on Spotify, Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Traveling the Vortex.
Are you ready to embark on an epic journey through time and space? Join the thousands of Whovians around the world who've discovered Traveling the Vortex, the ultimate Doctor Who podcast for die-hard fans and curious newcomers alike.
Every week, we dive deep into the Whoniverse, discussing the episodes, theories, and hidden gems. We dissect the Doctor's adventures, share behind-the-scenes stories, and explore the legacy of this iconic show.
Traveling the Vortex brings fans together, fostering a global community of Whovians. Whether you're a fan of classic or new Who, there's something for everyone.
Join us on this incredible journey as we unravel the mysteries of time and space.
Don't miss out. Subscribe to Traveling the Vortex today on your favorite podcast platform.
Traveling the Vortex. Your ticket to adventure awaits.
Traveling the Vortex is a proud member of the Direction Point Podcast Network. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
It's my time.
And welcome to My Time. It's great to be back on the program here. Finished the latest season of Doctor Who, so if you have not watched it yet, spoilers ahead, fast forward through this section. Anyway, I just want to give my thoughts here, mostly focusing on the last two episodes, because I talked all the way. I did talk about the Interstellar Song Contest, so Dug-a-Doo is still in my head, and it'll probably be there for a long time to come. Anyway, Wish World and the Reality War. So we get this bioregeneration, which has been established. So okay, I'm there with the Ronnie. Still wondering how they got the rights to the Ronnie, because Pip and Jane Baker swore up and down that they would never let anybody use it. But of course, I think they're both deceased, so maybe they went to the estate. I don't know. I couldn't find anything about that. But if you know something about that, shoot me an email. But anyway, this whole idea of alternate realities, of course, is known to Doctor Who. And the God of Wishes. So that we've got a new god. We've gotten a few new gods lately. So that's, of course, the Toymaker has always been one of those. I mean, if you look back at the History of the Universe book by Lance Park, and I think the Eternals is what they call them, like the Ghostlight, Fenric, and the Toymaker and things like that were all in there. But now we've got a few more. So the God of Wishes, the God of Light, my name is Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Sorry, that also is in my head. I think that should be a single. If you're old enough for a single, I think side one should be Mr. Ring-a-Ding. The other side should be Dug-a-Doo. Maybe somebody will do that. But anyway, May 24th, of course, in the Reality War, we get Omega. And that has created a lot of people buying copies of the Three Doctors and Arc of Infinity to kind of figure out who is Omega. And of course, you get a little bit of that in Remembrance of the Daleks as well, the Hand of Omega. So it's really something else. So it's really interesting that the baby god is adopted and then disappears and all that. But and I'm of course, leaving out the most controversial part of the final was, of course, Ncudi's last episode, which had been debated whether or not it was happening or not, but apparently it is. And he regenerates into Billy Piper. Okay. So my thoughts here on that. Okay, we did have a thing where Jodie Whittaker regenerated back into David Tennant. Okay, and that was for a 3 special thing. I think this is going to be the same thing. I think Billy Piper's Doctor will have a short run followed by a permanent run to a new Doctor. That's just my thought. I have no other opinions on that except that they didn't credit her as the Doctor. A lot of people are mentioning that, introducing Billy Piper, but as who? So we kind of don't know what's happening. This is one of those things where people scratch their heads and go, I long for the 79 season. So there we go. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm looking forward to the Battle of Land and Sea, which is supposed to come out this summer. Hopefully it'll be on Disney Plus. Haven't heard anything yet. But I also heard that the next season of Doctor Who might not be on Disney Plus. So if they decide to go that route, I guess I need to cancel my Disney Plus and figure out where it's going. It said Prime Video possibly, so which means you got to pay for it. Oh well, that's the cost of doing business sometimes. So there we go. Anyway, thank you for listening. That was my time. Coming up after the break, I'll have the main story, followed by the most outrageous offer. Stay tuned.
You are invited on an adventure across all of time and space, in a completely random order. It's the Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. Jump in the TARDIS with your hosts,
Eric Gulbranson,
Asad Kheshki,
and
Matthew Kressel.
Explore Doctor Who TV stories, audio adventures, and books, both novels and non-fiction. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. It's the entire Whoniverse on shuffle. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast is a member of the Direction Point Network and is available about once a month wherever you find your podcasts. You are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors podcast. Keep collecting.
The Vervoids are probably the best dirty joke in Doctor Who.
They're hermaphroditic plants.
A lot of plants are.
So there you go. It's based on science.
No, they'll ship anything.
There are probably 11 and handle shippers out there. You just have to drill a hole where his mouth is, and you're all set.
He needs the broom. I've seen it in pictures.
I'm not saying you're not a fan. I'm saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Doctor Who gives a a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Up there is the scanner, those are the doors, that is a chair with a panda on it. Sheer poetry, dear boy.
And now it's time for the main story on the Doctor Who Collectors podcast. Some breaking news. A while back, I had a bulk buy of various fanzines and things, and included in that was a stapled together catalog. And it was called Time Lord Incorporated, the 1981 catalog of Doctor Who. And Time Lord Incorporated was owned by Ed Novak, and it was out of Brooklyn, New York. So that's what I have. It's basically a 4-page catalog. But what got my attention here was Doctor Who hardcovers, $8.50 each. Now, and of course, side by side with this, I have a copy of the Bundles from Britain catalog as well. Actually, reaching for that as I speak, because I didn't get it out when I was being prepared. So, the Bundles from Britain catalog, of course, was in 1986. It was prepared in 85, and the first page of that is all the hardcovers. But we have some hardcovers here that were not distributed because I have 81 prints. I only have 7 prints. For instance, the 81 prints from Bundles from Britain include Doctor Who and the Cybermen, the Sontaran Invasion, the reprint, Day of the Daleks, the Demons, the Sea Devils, the Green Death, and the Doomsday Weapon, which was actually 82. So, and then certain Dust Jacket books. And the earliest one we had was the second printing of Planet of the Spiders. And then we had, of course, The Invasion of Time, Destiny of the Daleks, Power of Kroll, Armageddon Factor, Stones of Blood, Androids of Tara. All right. So for the first time anywhere, this is what was available in 1981. 3 years prior, almost 4 years prior to my store. So it looks like second printing of Web of Fear was sold here for $8.50. The Pyramid of Mars, which I believe I think that had only a first printing. This could be a second printing. We don't know. They don't have printings listed here. The Time Warrior, which is a book I'm still looking for. Tomb of the Cybermen. That means non-library copies of Tomb of the Cybermen were sold in the United States. Second printing, I believe, of the Dinosaur Invasion. That's pretty cool. It looks like The Horror of Fang Rock, The Android Invasion, The Face of Evil, The Invisible Enemy, which has been going for up to $500 in non-library condition, guys. They also had second printings of Planet of the Spiders, which we had. They had the Sontaran Experiment. That one's actually gone for some big bucks lately. I'm assuming the second printing of Seeds of Doom. And here we go. Here's an early one. Second printing of Dalek Invasion of Earth, which I just had confirmation from my friend Jonathan Ruffle that he bought his non-library copy from a U.S. seller. So that confirms that. They also had Mask of Mandragora. Let's see, what else here? A second edition of Carnival of Monsters, which I've just acquired myself, but I got it from an Australian seller. It looks like Image of the Fendal, also available. Loch Ness Monster is listed. I don't know if that's a first edition or the third printing that we have, which is probably the second printing. But my guess it was the third printing since I got mine from a U.S. seller. They also have the 10th Planet, which could probably also be a second printing. Deadly Assassin, Robots of Death. I'm guessing a second printing of Space War, which I have a non-library copy of that. This I don't have in my collection. Second printing of The Three Doctors. That was sold here in the United States. Copy of The Ice Warriors. And that's it. Those are the titles that I don't have record of in the bundles catalog. So now I have a second source, this 1981 Time Lord catalog, and I'll go through what else is in the catalog too, just so you know. But that was the big find here, was that there were lots of books in the New York area, possibly just outside New York. I don't know what the reach was. I've been trying to locate Mr. Ed Novak to no avail yet, but hey, that might happen. And if it does, if he's still around, or anybody from his family, if I can get him on the show, we can talk more and maybe get some more information. But this is huge. And so my website will be updated with those titles as being distributed in the United States. Will that change the pricing a little? I don't know, because a lot of them haven't been seen. Like I said, Planet of the Spiders reprint has been seen quite a bit, and I don't think it has the high value that people put on it. But certainly a non-library copy of Tomb of the Cybermen would fetch big bucks, or the 10th Planet, or the Three Doctors. So there you go. And they were sold for $8.50 each in 1981. I have that in the catalog here. They also announced here State of Decay, which was not released yet, but you could pre-order it. We had, I believe, State of Decay in our catalog for $14. So that's just a couple years later. Of course, we ended up taking all of the books in stock from Lyle Stuart, as they did not sell very well. So my guess is, I don't know if these books are still hanging around somewhere, but maybe somebody's got a stock of these somewhere. So I don't know. Anyway, while I'm on the same page here, Doctor Who Target book specials, which were $2.50. They offered the K9 and Dalek special and all the Doctor Who Discovers books, and the second monster book and the Junior Brain of Morbius, which was sent over here. On the first page, they do list a bunch of Target novels, although some of these are crossed out, like State of Decay was crossed out, probably not released yet. But this was interesting to see the list as well. It's not really unique. A lot of these books were available here. The next thing here that they had was the Barbara Elder posters. So the four Tom Baker posters, posters were $2 each back then, with a special for all four for $7. They offered 3 jigsaw puzzles, and it's very difficult. It looks like The Enemies of Doctor Who, Giant Robot, The Amazing World of Doctor Who with K9, and the third one I cannot read. And those were sold for $12.45 each, which was quite a bit of money in 81. And then he had assorted issues of Doctor Who Weekly from 1 to 43, and Doctor Who Monthlies 44 to 50. All the way up to 60 at $1.55 each. So he must have brought them in bulk. And then the last page here, a set of 18 Get Well and birthday cards. I've got all those, but he was only selling the sets at $12.80. He had the Barbara Elder picture buttons. He only had so it's like 7 of them for $1 each, but all 7 for $5.50. He offered the Doctor Who 81 BBC Annual for $7. A Doctor Who TARDIS candy box, 5-inch high tin painted with the TARDIS with the Doctor ready to step out. I think that was the bank. It doesn't have a picture, but $4.25. The Doctor Who Game of Time and Space for $16.50. I think we sold ours for $20. Let me just take a peek here in the bundles catalog. This is live reporting, guys. Yeah, the Game of Time and Space we had for, it looks like we did not have it in the catalog. So I remember having it at the shop. The Doctor Who Trumped card game for $2. Cassette tapes of Robot, Deadly Assassin, Brain of Morbius, and for $2.50. Invasion of Time for $3.75, and then the sound effects for $1.50. This was the charge for postage and handling will be sent along with your order. Allow 3 to 4 weeks for delivery. Any out of stock items will be credited to your next order. Sent to Ed Novak in Brooklyn, New York. I'm not going to read out the address because he might still be there. I might try to send a postcard there, see what happens. And on the back cover, it says new editions. A Doctor Who theme music 7-inch record for $3. The Doctor Who Program Guide Volume 1 in hardcover, $10.95. Doctor Who Genesis of the Daleks 12-inch record for $10. The sound effects for $10. And the Doctor Who 1965 annual with Hartnell, $45. A special there. So $45 in 1981. There were folks at the 1984 convention that had those for $100 to $150. So there you go. So that's the information we have. It does change some things as far as what books were available in the United States, and I have some confirmation to that as well. And I will put that confirmation in there. Special thanks to my friend Jonathan Ruffle for offering up the books he got from the United States as kind of help for this. And like I said, old catalogs can be very, very helpful in your research. I'm still trying to find an old Barbara Elder catalog. None of them have been for sale, but my old partner Gene, when he and I were in business a long time ago, I asked him if he might have had one in his files. He says he thinks he does, but he's, when he has time, he goes through the files, and if he finds it, he'll loan it to me so I can take a look and see what was out there for the Barbara Elder world. There are a lot more things coming out with that. People think there's 32 buttons, I believe, that totally came out, but we don't know for sure. We have a lot of information that is unverified, but I have verifiable information here from an old catalog. And I will do my best to scan this catalog without wrecking it and make it available on the various social platforms. So anyway, that is some information there. So Dalek Invasion of Earth, second printing in non-library condition. Unfortunately, mine is a library book, so it's like I could not find one here. But there might be a few of those still floating around. You never know. So I'm going to keep an eye out for those titles. Anyway, I hope this helps and has been educational for you as a collector, especially if you're looking to get all the hardcover books. I am down to, it looks like, to 3 titles, and that's exciting, but hard to find titles. So it's going to be quite a deal. Anyway, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the most outrageous offer.
We are going on a journey a very long journey through the world of the Target novelizations in publication order. Every week, we are looking at a new book, talking about Terrence Dicks, Malcolm Hulk, and all our Doctor Who novelization friends. Whatever you do, keep turning the pages. This is Jason Miller of the Doctor Who Literature Podcast, a member of the Direction Point Podcast Network, and you are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Hello, fellow time travelers, and welcome to the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, the only podcast to discuss, in story order, all the Doctor Who novelizations. My name is Tony Whitt, and every 2 weeks or so, I'm joined by a 2 to 3 person discussion panel, including our so-called expert who's been a Who fan since 1979. That would be me. We also get the views of intermediate, casual, and novice fans who either have never seen the show or who have never read these books until these podcasts, including
Dalton Hughes
and
Allison Fitz-Seyfried.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find good podcasts, or even ones like ours. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast on the Direction Point Podcast Network. Keep collecting.
All my travellings throughout the universe, I have battled against evil, against power-mad conspirators. I should have stayed here. The oldest civilization. Decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power-mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
And now it's time for the most outrageous offer. The most outrageous offer is a Doctor Who item or Doctor Who related item that is priced way beyond where it should be. And that's not in my opinion. That's based on research. You know, if I had my way, I would price everything reasonably so everybody can get one. But I'm not in charge of that. When I do sell things, I try to make them reasonable. So you can always tell me if you think mine is unreasonable, I will lower the price. There you go. Anyway, today we have a Doctor Who book. It's from the Missing Adventures series. It was called The Plotters by Gareth Roberts. Came out in 1996. Paperback. I checked. It looks like I do have one of these in the collection. But we have a place here called Toscana Books from Austin, Texas. This is from Abe Books, Abe Hughes Books. And this was forwarded to me by an anonymous person who did not want to be identified. Anyhow, The Plotters by Gareth Roberts. This is looks like a new condition book. And they're looking at a free, $4.30 shipping price within the United States. But if you want to buy the book, it's going to cost you $3,376.91. Okay. So I looked around. There's another copy on Abe Books by the Book House of St. Louis for $45. And I found several, about 20 on eBay for 20 or less. So you don't need to pay $3,000. So that's crazy. That is absolutely, that qualifies as outrageous. This is the Dr. Ian, Barbara, and Vicky find themselves in London, 1605, when they uncover a plot to blow up the House of Parliament. I remember the Missing Adventure series. There's some good stuff in there, but you don't need to pay that kind of money. That is just absolutely crazy. So, again, if you find a book out there like that's priced that high, and the next one down is $45, something's wrong. Or somebody's trying to really, who's going to pay that? I hope nobody. Nobody should pay that. This is what gets you frustrated in the world of collecting when, obviously some items are going to be priced high, especially if you've never seen one before, if there's one of a kind, or if it's a pretty rare item and that's new, or somebody discovers something in the box from 1965 and goes, whoa, it's brand new, it's never been opened. Yeah, that could command a high price. But, it's like when I watch the Pawn Stars and they go, bring a guy in here and my expert looked at it and says it's only worth, about a third of what you're asking for. So, and then of course, sometimes they go, well, I don't think you're right. They disagree with the expert and they leave. Or they'll go, all right, I'll take it because I got to get the money. And, that's just how it goes. But, oh well, this is definitely not one of those books that deserves a $3,376.91. That usually makes me suspicious when it's not an even amount of money. So why is it that way? Especially if it's a U.S. seller. It's not a U.K. seller. So sometimes I know in U.K., when you translate pounds to dollars, you get those pennies. But nope, not here. Anyway, I will have links and screenshots on the website because sometimes the links disappear after my podcast airs. Are they listening, or is somebody tipping them off? Going, hey, you're outed. Somebody found out about you. Oh, I'll take it down. I doubt it. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. That wraps up the Most Outrageous Offer, and that wraps up the Doctor Who Collectors podcast. Thank you for listening today. We did have some very important information about some hardcover books that were newly discovered to be sold in the United States prior to 1984, confirmed by a couple of people out there who bought them, and a catalog that basically surfaced that showed us what was available in the United States prior to the Bundles from Britain era, which is from 1984 on. Anyway, that's a wonderful thing. And thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for our future episodes, and also find us on TikTok and watch our video adventures. Until then, keep collecting.
A Doctor Who Podcast Network.